Hello and welcome to a new topic, Diachronic Approach in Linguistics. Terminological distinction. The terminological distinction between synchronic and diachronic approaches in linguistics was first made by Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure 1857-1913 in his course in General Linguistics, published posthumously in 1916. Diachronic Approach. The diachronic approach traces the historical development of language and records the changes that have taken place in it between successive points in time. We continue our discussion about diachronic approach in linguistics. It considers the development and evolution of a language through history. We have some more ideas. Diachronic is therefore equivalent to historical. We continue our discussion. It investigates language changes as they have occurred from time to time. We have some more ideas about diachronic approach in linguistics. Diachronic linguistics. Briefly, it is the study of the history of language. It is also known as diachronic linguistics, and diachronic linguistics is the same thing as that of historical linguistics. And we can see diachronic linguistics is equal to historical linguistics. We continue our ideas. Diachronic approach in linguistics. If you want to study the English language and your approach is diachronic, we will have the study of English language in this manner, starting from Old English to Middle English to early modern English and modern English in historical manner, in the way the language has developed. We can give the timeline, like Old English, you can trace back to 500, Middle English 1066, early modern English 1500, and modern English 1700. So in this way we can study the English language if we have the diachronic approach to study the development of language. So what we mean to say is that we study language in a vertical manner, in a vertical line. We have some more ideas. Diachronic approach in linguistics. A timeline of the important historical periods in the history of language. And we can see this could be the timeline of the history of language, starting from 500 to 2000, that is to say, to the present. In this way, we can study the history of language in a diachronic manner. Synchronic approach in linguistics. Synchronic approach. What is this? The synchronic approach sees language as a living whole, existing as a state at one particular time. We continue our discussion about synchronic approach. Synchronic approach is also known as synchronic linguistics. And you can see there is a book written titled as Synchronic English Linguistics, an introduction. We continue our ideas. Synchronic approach. Synchronic linguistics is often descriptive, analyzing how the parts of language or grammar work together at one existing time. We have some more ideas about synchronic approach. It is concerned with the logical and psychological relation that binds together to form a system of language in the collective mind of speakers. We have some more ideas to share with you about synchronic approach. Studies of dead languages can be synchronic, as by definition they are no longer spoken. They are not evolving and are frozen in time. We have some more ideas about synchronic approach in linguistics. If you want to study the history of language or the literature of language, and your approach is synchronic, you will have this outline, this way of studying the subject matter, like a study of the English language in this way, like development of English during William Shakespeare time. So you have to study whatever happened during the lifetime of William Shakespeare in the field of English language. Likewise, a study of the language of Jane Austen at one particular time, the time in which Jane Austen lived and wrote. Likewise, we have global influence of modern English in 21st century, talking about whatever the global influence we had on English language in the modern time. So what we mean to say is that you have to study horizontally at one particular time, existing at a state frozen in time. In the synchronic approach, we study something horizontally. Difference between diachronic and synchronic approaches. Synchronic approach think of a synchronic analysis as a single frame in a roll of a film. So synchronic approach is all about you study in a roll of a film. You just take one roll of the film, one frame of the film, and then you look at it and you analyze and you talk about. Studying language in this manner is known as synchronic approach. We move on to the next. Diachronic approach. The diachronic analysis would be the study of all the frames. But in a diachronic approach, we study all the frames of the film, like all the periods through which languages have developed from time to time. That is the point here. Next, diachronic and synchronic approach. Look at this diagram, A and B, C and D, vertical and horizontal. From the diagram, we can analyze that A, B is the synchronic axis. It refers to a language existing at a particular time. CD is the diachronic axis, an imaginary line moving through time, the historical path through which language has evolved. In the diagram, X is the point on CD. AB can intersect the axis CD at any point. We move on to the next. Diachronic and synchronic approach. Language study in the 19th century was largely diachronic, but in the 20th century, emphasis has been on synchronic analysis. Ferdinand de Saussure favored the synchronic approach. However, each approach has its own benefits. We have some more points. Diachronic and synchronic approach. The diachronic approach might focus more on the interplay of historical events and language changes. The synchronic approach would love to look at things like texting, email, and all modes of expressing language in a particular period of time, that is to say, in the 21st century. Hope you understand the concept. Thank you and goodbye.